Okay, folks, welcome to the Broken Arrow Drum Corps Show 2025 edition post show. And it is very, well, I could say early, right? It is early Wednesday morning here on the East Coast. It's always a bit of a challenge when there's a central time zone show or something outside the East Coast. Um, Anywho, so we're going to get right into it because it's getting late. So let me just put a little background music in because you're going to get tired of hearing me blaze through this. Okay, so first thing we're going to cover is the scores. Here is the show lineup for tonight's show in Broken Arrow. So I looked on DCI.org. They don't have the scores up yet, which is unfortunate. Otherwise, I put those on the screen. So I'm just going to read them off here if you haven't seen them yet. So in placement in the open class, only one corn open class with a 65.4 is Zephyrus. They're also a local corps there down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Very cool for them, I'm sure, to be performing there in Broken Arrow in their home state. So now we move into the world class division DCI corps with a 71.7 Genesis, with a 74.8 Music City, with a score of 76.1 Crossman, with a score of 77.1 Spirit of Atlanta, with a score of 85.55 Phantom Regiment, with a score of 85.6 Carolina Crown, and a score of 88.55 the Bluecoats. So yeah, a little bit of a switch up there as far as some position finishes, which is normal during the course of a season typically. I don't know about this 85.6 to an 88, almost a 3-point jump between Crown and Bluecoats. Okay, maybe it is. I don't know. It seemed like a big jump. And even Phantom is right behind that, so whatever it be. So I have a bunch of notes here. I'm just going to read like crazy off my notes, and that's it, okay? So let me just blaze away. So Zephyrus, again, open class corps this year, very cool. They came out of the sound sport area. So show title is Boundless. Basically, they're fairly good with balanced numbers. Usually these smaller corps you worry about sometimes, but they have 29 horns, 20 color guard, 8 in the pit, and 17 battery. I mean, probably a little heavy in percussion, but that's not unusual. They have a great trombone soloist. I think they had more energy as a corps tonight than they did the other night, which I saw them on the live stream from the Arkansas show over the weekend. Nice effort with the brass mutes. Trumpets go on all mutes, and then there's a strong entrance by the rest of the brass line in the start of the second number. Very cool. And then the ballad also, that's like the start of the ballad, and then the end of the ballad ends with trumpets, which is really cool. So kind of a nice bookend moment there for the trumpet section. I think there's about 8 or 10 of them or something like that, maybe. Anyway, so they have a nice drum solo. The drum section is featured in Zephyrus a couple times. And I'm glad to see that that the difficulty level of the show matches kind of the capabilities of the corps itself. They have things to work on, but it's not like crazy over their heads, which sometimes happens, right? Staffs have big ideas and create something way too big and difficult for a corps to handle, but they don't do that here in Zephyrus. And to end the show, the color guard had a great moment on all yellow flags. Very cool, and I thought they did, as I said, the energy better tonight than the other night. Okay, we're going to go into Genesis. We have Kaleidoscope Heart, very cool uniform. I'm glad to see they don't have any of these what I call waist capes. It's just such a much more cleaner look visually. I mean, to see, I don't understand the real interest in that from corps. I don't know why so many of them have them, but anyway, they do, unfortunately. But I'm going to tell you that to me, it just reads much cleaner visually to see them without those capes around the waist. But anyway, kind of have a nice weaving of my favorite things musically throughout the entire show, especially in the opener. And then we have their proper uniforms. Have a beautiful kaleidoscope kind of design on the center. Very cool. And the opening drill does like a really cool kaleidoscope kind of movement. When they start in a circle and then they fill the circle with different movements, which is really cool. They have a really good, interesting color guard rifle moment. They use these hollow rifles, right? They're not solid. And on one side, they're just a traditional white. And on the other side, half of them are in blue and half of them are in orange. And every so often they turn a different way, and you can see some are blue, some are orange, which is pretty cool effect. They had another great flag moment in the closing parts of the show. Basically, the whole court was spread about, or the guard was spread about 100 yards. Really big spread. And I noticed that in a couple other places tonight. Okay, Music City. The show is It Tolls for Thee. I love clocks and watches that have Roman numerals on them. So their prop gets a big double thumbs up from me, and that's a good thing for Gen X people. I think someone said that newer generations don't like double thumbs up. Well, I'm just going to tell you that it's a good thing when we do that. But anyway, so it gets a double thumbs up for me for the prop because it uses a clock, very significant clock on side 2 in the front, and it has Roman numerals. As I said, I love Roman numerals. I think it's very classy on clocks and watches. But that aside, basically another core without the waist capes, which again, it reads cleaner to me. There's a nice mellophone moment, a sustained note in the opening statement of their program. And I was quite impressed with that because, they're right along the front, they're very exposed, and they did a great job with it. And of course, our ears are getting used to hearing those mellophone sustained chords. So any little thing that's off would stand out, I think, to most of us. But no, they did a great job. So bravo to them. The ballad also has a great tuba soloist, and the drum feature is synchronized with the rifle toss. Very good moment there as well. Pitt sounded really nice in spots. It kept grabbing my attention. So bravo to you, Pitt. The one thing I don't like that they have uniform-wise is they have would look like gray shoes with black socks. They don't work, in my opinion. Switch out those black socks for some gray socks, and I think you'll be good to go. And heading into the final moments of their show, Music City do a nice, great dual flag moment. Really fills the field with some beautiful movement and color in the color guard. So excellent job. Spirit of Atlanta. By the way, here's a random fact. Spirit of Atlanta was the first corps to have a color guard that featured a male-female pairing. In the dance world, it was called partnering. So there you go. And that was back in at least 1986. It may have been 1985, but I'm not positive. But it's either 1985 or 1986. The Spirit of Atlanta broke the ground by having the first male-female guard pairing. So there you go. A little bit of trivia for you, or history. The show is Rocket, a very fun show. Lots of familiar music in this. They are celebrating their 50th anniversary. So there you go, Spirit. What's pretty neat is right at the beginning, they set the Rocket theme off very cool with a sound check that basically sounds like a systems check at NASA or in a space program, right? So that's pretty cool. You kind of have to hear it to kind of get the gist of what I'm talking about. The trumpet feature is some nice brass moments there. And a power chord at the end of the opener really gets your attention to finish out the opener. And then it kind of decrescendos. And then the horn line turns around as they're decrescendoing. Very cool effect. Very nice. Good job there, Spirit. And the flugelhorn soloist is amazing. In the ballad, there's sort of these arc forms, and the color guard is on all flags there. Really nice moment with the horn line and the guard. Excellent job. The horn line, although I got to be honest, I'm going to get to see them this weekend down in San Antonio. They don't sound like the Spirit that we love and know so well. But again, it might be a miking thing. I'm not sure. Flow, basically, from what I can tell, for sound, they just take their microphones and stuff them into the speakers and pick up whatever they get. So I'll have to see when I'm down there. But even in their big moments, the horn line, the Spirit of Atlanta horn line, even their big impact moments, the crowd didn't really have a huge reaction to it. So it makes me think that maybe they're not playing at this moment. Again, some Some instructors hold them back until a little later in the year, just to work out some stuff, and then they open them up with the dynamic window and make them play a little bit louder. But I'm not sure. The usually Spirit brings it strong to you with the horn line, but I don't know. We'll have to see in person. Crossman, a very cool show called Crosswalking, or maybe Wait is a good name for it as well. The famous sound you hear at crosswalks sometimes. But yeah, it was. It's really cool to see them continuing their jazzy ways. They could have very easily said, you know what, we're going to something else. But I'm glad to see that they stuck with the jazz. Uniforms look real cool, although I got to be honest, I'd be very curious to see what the uniform would look like with black hats and a white band around the center instead of white hats with the black band. I'd just be curious to see how it would look. Maybe it would look horrible. I'm not sure, but I think it would look pretty cool. Basically, sounds like there's way too much bass from the electric stand-up bass in the very beginning. It was hard to hear the horn line, but again, you're talking about flow sound here, so that might be the reason why. But even in person, even when the Crossmen got to their first big impact, you really didn't hear much of a reaction in the crowd. I mean, there was some reaction, but not a lot. There's a real nice mellophone run at the end of the opener, really, really well performed, and especially for this time of year. And the Wait section, I guess, Hoedown song, very energetic. It's going to be a crowd pleaser for sure. All sections, including color guard, drumline, pit, everybody, horn line, everybody contributing in that Hoedown section. Very cool. There's some really wide field spreads too, the Crossmen, I've noticed. I mean, they're really spread out. Reminds one of, if you go back and look at a very cool, great show from the Blue Stars a few years back called basically War and Peace, right? They were spread a lot too. Definitely some great trumpet screamers in the Crossmen, and they had a pretty rousing finish. I don't know what's just the arrangements are choppy or whether the transitions are just not there yet, but it just feels musically a bit choppy to me, the Crossmen program, but we shall see. The Phantom Regiment, the title of the show is The Phantom Regiment, whatever you like it to be. So, to tell you the truth, the history of Phantom the last couple of years, I was over the moon with their 2022 core and program. I thought it was awesome, and I don't know if people remember that, but go back and check it out, please. I mean, because a lot of people jumped on the Phantom train, which is awesome, but in 23 and 24, but go back to 22. That is an amazing show, an amazing core. So anyway, just a side note. By the way, the Phantom Regiment used to have 3 corps. There used to be the main corps, Phantom Regiment. There was the Phantom Regiment Cadets, and then there was the pre-cadets. This was back in days gone by, of course. But yeah, Phantom Regiment actually used to have 3 separate corps, interestingly enough. Okay. So real nice brass feature to start everything out with the trombone. There's 7 of them. Really, again, the horn line has a great moment with rifles. Really a synchronized moment there. I kind of made a few bad notes here, I guess. There's also some great moments where the color guard does kind of chain reaction rifle tosses, and there's basically a big square box of the horn line in the middle, and the rifles go right through the middle of it. Very cool effect. It's right center of the field. You can't miss it, either musically or visually. It's very neat. The ballad, I'm gonna have to give it another listen, but it doesn't sound like the epic Phantom Regiment ballads that we know and love so much. Last year's ballad was great. It was just way too short, in my opinion. Maybe another minute would have been great. And then the previous year ballad, 23, I don't know, really wasn't, again, what would I call it, like an epic Phantom ballad. So I'll have to see this ballad and listen to it again. There's an amazing angelic feel to this show with the Phantom Regiment, and especially toward the end, there's just really everything you would hope, a big, strong finish, and that's what we love from Phantom Regiment. Now, Carolina Crown show is Point of No Return, a gorgeous backfield playing at the very start, really sets the mood. I love it. I think we're getting back to that a little bit, where corps are playing a little bit more backfield these days. In Lucas Oil, it's going to sound spectacular. Can't wait to hear that. And then there's a great rifle moment right across the front, side 1 to side 2 side, that kind of goes across, and I kept seeing the rifle line doing all kinds of synchronized things or chain reaction tosses, they kept catching my eye all over the place. So if you're a color guard person, definitely check it out. And I didn't see too many drops, I got to be honest with you. So yeah, I mean, we know Crown's guard is very good. They were excellent last year, and they look like they're equally excellent this year. There's basically, there was a very strong end to the opener. Great double tonguing moments from the horn line in spots. Obviously, it's going to need a little more work to get clean, but I know they will definitely do that. And in the third production, there was an amazing velocity. It really picked up some momentum there. And overall, I like this Crown show. It's kind of what we expect from them. And certainly they have like ending, number one. I'm sure they have more to go. Maybe another 30 to 40 seconds left in the show. And it should be amazing when they do that, because already it's very exciting. So yeah, we look forward to seeing how Crown kind of writes the end of this show. Blue coats or blue. So a strong opening statement from them. The uniforms is pretty neat under the lights. You can see like a real kind of shiny iridescent quality to the uniform. It's not just a flat kind of white color. So very nice. It does give a nice effect. Basically a strong end of the opener, color guard on side one, hornline on side two. Both are making strong statements. Color guard's kind of in a block and do a really cool flag thing, and the hornline is just basically playing some amazing quality at that moment as well. So huge ballad moment for this show, very reminiscent of the Big Gig in the Sky 2016 show. I think it's going to be just as big for sure. There won't be the wink, though. If you're not familiar with that, go check out the story of the wink in 2016 Bluecoats. But yeah, definitely going to be a huge moment, and probably the biggest moment ballad-wise, impact-wise of the season, most likely. So Crown plays a really sensitive ballad, has a little bit of a rise, but it's more about playing very quiet and sensitive, but dramatic, I guess you could say. Whereas Bluecoats just let it wail, and it's beautiful. The trombone soloist is unbelievable. I mean, there are a tremendous amount of great soloists out there each season, but this guy, he's probably going to be the best soloist of the year, or at least one of the top 2 to 3. Just amazing. So awesome job. I need to see this show more, to be honest with you. This is only the second time I saw a full run from them. They do have the full closer in as of now. I'm sure they'll make some changes. Visually, if I had to make any comments, I'm not a fan of all these little boxes around the field. It makes it look really cluttered. They don't really have some big snaky kind of drill moves. That's a very technical term, snaky, by the way, like they had last year. They're more like little sections, and I didn't like that. I don't like that visually. I really don't. I think it's just more impressive when you have bigger forms and shapes, and with all these boxes everywhere, you really can't do that. So maybe it looks better in person. I'm not sure, but overall, Bluecoats are very strong. Obviously, they are definitely right there in the thick of it. I think if you had to give me, if I had to give you like an overall thought on cores and placements and such, I think it's most likely going to be a Boston Bluecoat face-off for the top 2. I don't think anyone's going to take them. Then you get into 3-4. I think there's going to be another battle in 3-4. That could be anything from basically the Blue Devils and Phantom, or Blue Devils and Crown, or it could be the Blue Devils and the Vanguard. Don't know yet. We are going to see where everybody lands after San Antonio, just to get a basic idea. It's not exactly the final idea after San Antonio, so don't get ahead of yourself, folks. Stuff will happen in San Antonio that'll kind of set the stage, but there's some things that definitely will not be carried all the way through to the end of the year as far as placements go. It is very late here. I got to get going. It is a school night, or i.e. work night. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the support to the 14 subscribers on my YouTube channel. Thank you. If you're not subscribed, please do, especially if I highlight your channel somewhere in my weekly updates. I really would appreciate it, or at least a like or a comment to let just to let me know that you're enjoying and receiving this content in some degree. So that's it for now, folks. Have a good one. Cheers.